Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving into a fascinating and honestly kind of chilling concept, the idea that our modern internet is basically just mirroring medieval times. We're unpacking this deeply thought-provoking piece of analysis called the digital serfdom trap. It asks one incredibly massive, super relevant question. Did humanity ever actually leave the feudal system behind, or did we just digitize the whole shebang? Let's get right into it.
To kick things off, let's look at this quote from Zoran the Dragon. It goes, "A cage does not need bars, little mortal. It only needs comfort." Wow, that ancient wisdom right there perfectly sets the stage for our journey into the illusion of digital freedom. You see, we aren't kept in our modern cages by physical force. Not at all. We're kept there by comfort, extreme convenience, and this completely false sense of security.
All right, part one. Welcome to New Feudalism.
So let's look at how humanity supposedly escaped physical chains, only to just stumble right into a brand new type of feudal system. Look at the old world compared to the new world. Back in the day, serfs worked the land, lords owned that land, and kings controlled those lords. Fast forward to today, users work the feed, giant corporations own the platforms, and what the author calls machine lords control the corporations. It's wild, because the actual dynamic hasn't changed at all, just the terminology. Fletcher Soul Traveler, a voice from our text, hits the nail right on the head here. He says the digital world has lords, vassals, and peasants. Only the names are different. This really highlights how we just traded in our physical kingdoms for digital ones. We eagerly swapped out our titles, sure, but we kept the exact same hierarchy firmly in place. I mean, think about it. You might not be out there plowing a literal field, but you are absolutely generating value on property that you do not own. Moving on to Section 2, the illusion of freedom. Whenever we log onto these digital walled gardens, we're promised all these incredible liberties, right? The freedom to speak, earn, connect, and grow. But actually, these only exist within some extremely strict boundaries defined by the platform overseers. You have the freedom to speak, well, until an algorithm suppresses you. You can earn a living right up until a platform randomly changes its payout rules. You can grow a business until the ranking system gets altered overnight. It's freedom with a giant asterisk. Which brings us to this incredibly sharp realization from the analysis. Freedom inside a walled garden is not freedom. It is permission. We constantly, almost daily, mistake permission for real liberty. We completely forget who actually grants us the ability to exist on these platforms in the first place. And in the digital realm, what can be granted can literally be revoked in a microsecond. Okay, Section 3, the dependency spiral. This whole illusion of freedom actually builds into an invisible trap. Because, you see, digital serfdom doesn't start with some hostile takeover. Just think about your cloud storage, your email, your identity verification, or the creative tools you use every single day. The system doesn't kick off with coercion. It starts by making these tools utterly, completely essential to your daily life. The machine lords purposefully design systems that become the absolute bedrock of modern existence. Fletcher maps out this descent so perfectly. It's like a step-by-step staircase. Step 1 is adoption. We join because, well, everyone else is there. Step 2 is integration. We begin to seamlessly blend it into our lives. Step 3 is dependence. We literally cannot function without it. Step 4 is submission. We just blindly accept whatever rules and terms of service the platform imposes. And finally, step 5, serfdom. We lose our autonomy entirely, all while enthusiastically thanking the platform for its convenience. Crazy, right? And guys, this is perhaps the most alarming takeaway from our explainer today. The trap is not forced. It is chosen. Humanity wasn't enslaved by brute force or some conquering army. No, we eagerly surrendered our independence through comfort and sheer daily habit. That brings us to Section 4, chains made of algorithms. So what exactly keeps us tied to this digital land? Well, in traditional feudalism, the chains were made of heavy iron, but today, they're completely invisible. These new chains take the form of ranking systems, moderation filters, visibility scores, and shadow bans. They aren't restraining your physical body. They're restraining your opportunities and your overall reach. These invisible algorithms dictate who sees your business, who hears your voice, and ultimately, who gets to participate in the modern digital economy. Zoran's perspective here reminds us of a really terrifying modern reality. The quote reads, "Mortals fear losing their freedom. They should fear losing their reach." Becoming invisible to an algorithm is essentially the modern equivalent of being completely erased from society. Think about it. If the algorithm randomly decides to drop your visibility score, your digital existence basically evaporates into thin air. let's pivot to Section 5, the taxation of attention. So, how does this massive, invisible system actually sustain itself? Well, medieval kings demanded a portion of your physical harvest, right? The machine lords demand your attention. Every single moment you spend on a platform generates immense value. It happens through ad impressions, behavioral data, and even deep emotional profiling. And this data, it's harvested automatically and continuously, 24 hours a day, all across the globe. You are quite literally paying rent just by looking at a screen. Fletcher saw the absolute core truth of this whole system. Users do not pay with money. They pay with time, focus, and identity. Attention is the new labor. And those algorithms? They are the ruthless overseers, continually and efficiently collecting your focus as a tax. Next up, Section 6, the psychological cost. But we have to ask, what is this relentless extraction actually doing to us as humans? The deepest cost here isn't economic at all. It's heavily psychological. Just look at these behavioral shifts. When algorithms decide what you see, what you fear, and what you buy, your personal autonomy just silently erodes. We're actively replacing choice and exploration with mindless reacting and consuming. We've gone from deep, critical thinking to just endless scrolling. And again, this doesn't happen by force. It sneaks up on us through sheer habit. As Zoran points out, mortals once shaped their world. Now their world shapes them. We've unfortunately reached a serious tipping point here. The digital tools that we initially built to shape our environment, to make our lives easier, are now actively shaping our behaviors, our beliefs, and our deepest desires. We're literally being molded by the very platforms we're supposed to be working on.
Finally, Section 7, the path forward.
You know, the most dangerous form of serfdom is absolutely the one that feels exactly like freedom. To move forward, we first have to recognize the illusions we're living under. We walk around believing we're completely empowered, connected, fully informed, highly creative, and totally sovereign. But true sovereignty requires genuine independence, and independence requires the ability to actually choose viable alternatives. But as the text argues, the machine lords have spent years quietly eliminating those alternatives entirely. Fortunately, Zoran does offer a vital ray of hope right at the end here. Mortals can break any chain once they remember it exists. We can reclaim our sovereignty, for sure, but only if we wake up and recognize these invisible chains holding us. After all, a cage only really works if you don't realize you're inside it. Awareness is the absolute first step to breaking out. I'm going to leave you with this final, provocative thought from Fletcher to really ponder as you navigate the conveniences of your digital life today. If leaving a system means completely losing your business, your connections, or your voice, are you a user or just a subject with better branding? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep learning, stay curious, and hey, remember to keep looking out for those invisible chains.